Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whenever and wherever you're watching us. Welcome to another episode of Conical Supremacy, and man, we got a good show for you guys today. I'd like to introduce myself, John Noreko, and my great co-host, Mr. Doug Tornquist. Doug, how are you today, man?
John, doing great. How about you?
I'm trying to hang in there, and we're going to forego what we normally do here because we've got two great guests here, and I'm going to pass that off to you to introduce them.
All right. So today, very special day. We have two incredibly accomplished musicians with us today, celebrating the release of a new album. We have Jim Self and John Chiodini. Bravo, guys. Thanks for joining us today. So we're going to hear a lot of your music today. Shall we get right to that?
Yeah. First, I'd like to ask Jim, though, what was your idea of just having a duet record? I mean, this is your second one. And is this the third one, John? My apologies.
This is our third one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. And when's the release date on that?
Well, hopefully we'll have in a couple weeks we'll have copies, and the release date is going to be probably in mid-March.
So, what was your idea starting this whole duet thing in the first place? Because
I'm a frustrated guitar player when I was a boy, and I love the guitar, and I know how it blends well with the tuba. If my earlier albums have guitar on it a lot. Mm-hmm. And John and I played in the David Angel band together, and that's how we met. And I just said one night, just want to get together and play some tunes? And he said, yeah. He came over, and it was magic. That's all I can tell you. We had this chemistry between us, and a rhythmic thing more than anything else, I think. And then we just kept doing it for about 4 or 5 years now, and we have 3 albums.
This is great, man. So let's check out the duet right now. So that first tune was called "Hanging Out," and it was written by John. And can you tell me any impetus behind that, man, or is it just kind of fun?
It was fun. Jim had asked me, back up. Mind's racing.
It's all good.
We've written original tunes on all of the things that we've done, and so Jim said on this one, he was thinking of making the title tune of the album.
Well, it's a really, really cool tune. It's very reminiscent of. I like the way you write your melodies and stuff like that, and the changes are very reminiscent of, my love of American jazz standards. So it's just a beautiful thing. And when you guys are doing this type of thing, as a jazz musician myself, usually in the duet setting, you've got to make some interesting choices as far as that's concerned,
is that
right?
Yeah.
And maybe you can tell the audience about those choices that you make when you guys are playing together. I mean, like for instance, Jim, when you're playing bass lines, you're kind of staying out of the way a little bit more than a regular bass player would do, right, man?
Well, I have to breathe.
Yeah, well.
You're the only guy who can play forever without breathing.
Oh, no, I have to breathe. I just hide it really well.
But the rhythmic thing we have together is unique. And he's a one-man band. You don't need any drummer with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just have to lean on him, and I don't know, he's opened me up, he's freed me up. And he says the same about me. And he wrote Hanging Out sort of for the tuba. It's
Yes.
a tuba line, and it's just perfect range, perfect kind of a thing for it,
Yeah, it's a great combination. We were surprised, a month or so ago with the tuba harp combination. We're just discovering that. And I think what's interesting, it's a different sound. It's a different set of harmonics you're dealing with. I find the intonation is pretty easy for you. Do you find that, Jim, playing with guitar?
for sure. And one of the things that's real special with John, I want to play in a tuba register. I don't want to play up high all the time. It wipes me out. And I don't want to be above the bass. I want to be down where I belong, where I can play like a trumpet player in his register. He revoices chords. If he hears a flat 9 in my solo or something, he'll revoice it somehow. I don't know. It's just he's a brilliant accompanist, and as many singers know in this town.
Well, good jazz accompanist are supposed to do that. That's our job, is supposed to hear what the soloist is doing and prop them up and keep them going. John, I also noticed when you play too, you've got a little bit of chord melody going on as well. As far as that's concerned, is that kind of how you started, or were you just merely just blowing and then that kind of came in, or just curious, because guitar players come from different places and then they end up in a different place.
I think it's all how I learned, and what I listened to.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, who was like your biggest influence as a young man?
That's a period. At one time, it was Barney Kessel.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you hear a lot of that in my playing.
Oh yeah, no, I totally hear a lot of Barney in there.
And it's just from Charlie Christian lines,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah, it's just I really love the way you play, man, because it's very fluid and it's thought through. Where a lot of guys will just be licked bass stuff, and I try to do that in my playing as well, where it's more like spontaneous melodic invention as opposed
Well,
to
that's
just lick.
that's what
lick.
we both try to do,
Yeah,
is to play
and-
melody.
Well,
you know,
and
it's
and
just-
I think that's what raises people above, and I wish younger players would think that way too, because it's not just about making the change. Well, you got to make the changes, but it's more of a melodic thing that you should be thinking about rather than, oh, I'm going to play this lick, and then I'm going to play that lick, and I'm going to play this lick. Well, speaking of licks, one of the most iconic. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
I wanted to say one thing about for a tuba player to play in our normal real register, it often interferes if a piano player is playing. The left hand of the piano gets in the way, unless he's voicing it really openly.
Right.
Because you want to be able to improvise in that register, which is below middle C mostly. And if somehow he never gets in the way. Whatever it is, to me, it's magic.
well,
Yeah.
you know, we pay attention to it.
Okay.
An example, in Up Jump Spring, the bridge. I mean, it's a gorgeous thing, Freddie Hubbard. But the melody goes to a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I'm going to be playing the root, and he's playing the 9, they're both down here.
So it's flipped, right,
You know what
man?
I mean?
And
So
I'm
I
hip.
can't, I have to revoice that chord. Or in some instances, like in that song, is to change the harmony.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that too is it says a lot about you guys constantly listening to each other
That's exactly
and
right.
adjusting.
Yeah.
And that's in the jazz idiom, for me, that's what a good rhythm section player needs to do all the time. Constantly listen, constantly adjust, because you're just supposed to be there. I always use the analogy of surfing, where the rhythm section's the wave and then the soloist is the surfer sitting on top, and you got to make sure the surfer's not going to crash. That's just the way it is. But I was going to say, speaking of licks, you guys recorded Sir Duke, and it's on the record, but you also did it live for us here, and I'd really like to put that up. And what iconic licks are in that, right? I mean, it's just one of those
Fluba.
great things. And Jim, just for the audience out there, we've got one of your pride and joys right sitting back here, and tell everybody what that is, please.
That's the fluba, which is my word for a common. It's a tuba-sized flugelhorn. And Rob Stewart, the great brass maker, which I know you guys have done shows with Rob, and he's done a lot of repair work for Doug and I and many other people. He's a creative guy. He created this instrument for me, and it's just wonderful to play. I feel like I'm a real flugelhorn player, Art Farmer or somebody like that. But
There you
I know
go,
I'm
man.
not.
Well, hey, let's check out a little Sir Duke right now. Well, that was a little Sir Duke, and thank you so much for that, you guys. Just awesome thing to hear you guys play live. The next tune is a cut off the new record, and it's called Up Jump Spring, and we were just talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
And Doug, yeah, go ahead.
Well, can you tell me why you recorded it the way you did?
Well, number one, I didn't even know it had a verse, but he knew it, and he finds all these cool things that I, hidden in the background, and then so that's why we did it. And one of the things that I like, even Freddie Hubbard plays it too fast for me, and ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da-da, more of a bebop line almost. But John and I played a nice loping 3/4, and that's what it got into. It just made sense to us, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's a nice, comfortable. It swings. It's a nice,
That's
comfortable tempo.
Yeah, I find the jazz waltzes are one of my favorites to play, actually. They just kind of move along and they move along. I think that's also true in classical music as well. I mean, the waltz is just, it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, it just really is. I mean, I don't think there's a bad one. I mean, is there a bad waltz?
I've played a few.
That's awesome. Well, hey, let's take a listen to Up Jump Spring right now, and you guys tell us what you think. Well, that was really great. The next tune that you sent us is called "It Could Happen to You," and I really like this song a lot. I play it pretty much a couple times a week, and but on this particular recording, Jim, you decided to augment the duet, right?
Well, one of the things John and I decided early on, we play in the David Angel Band, and we just produced a triple CD called Out on the Coast with that band, and it's absolutely packed full of great soloists. And so we thought, just to make it a little more interesting, this third album, duo album, we'd bring 4 guys in, and they'd each have a feature song, and they do. This Ron Stout on trumpet and flugelhorn, David Angel on baritone sax, Tom Peterson on tenor sax, and Scott Whitfield on trombone. They each have their own feature, and then we decided to end the album with a jam tune, we call it. So we just picked something real easy we all could play from memory, and so we took It Could Happen to You, and we just kept half choruses pretty much on it, and it just we did a couple little things. We dropped out the guitar and the tuba in one place and just let the other guys play, like almost like Dixieland.
Well, no, that's. I mean, I do that every day with a stop time. We call it a stop time, where the front line just takes it, and
That's right.
rhythm section. And for those of you out there, that's actually the correct term. Stop time means the time stops, but the horns don't. So just letting everybody know. Anyway, because no, they always get it wrong. They always think that it's just
They think
one of
it's
those
gonna
things.
Oh.
Yeah. So when you're doing something like that, you're obviously thinking a little bit different on that too, right, John? I mean, you're with more horns out there. You're playing on maybe a little bit less.
You have to pay attention. There's more going on.
Right. So you're probably playing a little bit less. You're letting the guys breathe, doing that whole thing.
Exactly.
And then Jim, on this cut, you're playing a little bit of the bass lines and stuff like that, but you were kind of staying out of the way too.
Trying to. Yeah, I mean, you have to realize that one of the reasons we cut out the rhythm and a couple of things in there was we're all in the same register almost, including Ron on the trumpet, because he plays mostly, he's not a high trumpet player most of the time, and is soloing anyway. And so it's all down there at the bottom of the top of the bass staff, if you will, and so it helped to thin it out. Simplicity helps make it listenable, I guess.
Yeah, man. Well, let's take a listen to this one right now.
I have a question for you, John. Is it true that you played with the Boston Pops Orchestra
Yes, it is.
under the baton of the esteemed Arthur Fiedler?
Yes, that's true.
And you told me that you were responsible for a certain innovation in that orchestra, perhaps in the world of music. I think it. You told me that you brought the wah-wah pedal, right, into the Boston Pops, or was it that you brought the wah-wah pedal into the world of the symphony orchestra?
Well, it was the Boston Pops. When I was hired, it was to be on a recording. And
Do you remember what the recording was, man?
it was Neil Diamond,
Okay.
you know. And they really liked what I did. I'm trying to remember the arranger. God, we were talking about this in the car.
Leroy Anderson.
No, no.
Somebody more
But-
jazzy.
Yeah, but it really worked out. They were doing, they had that great TV show, Evening at Pops.
Oh, I used to watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Bill Moyers was the band manager.
The band manager,
Yeah.
Bill Moyers.
Now, not the
Oh, not that
Not
one.
the
Bill
broadcaster,
Moyer that
the
did
other
the
guy.
Joseph Campbell.
Okay.
Right? This was another. So he spoke to me and he said like he would like to have me come in and rehearse because the producers of the show, you know, they were doing what was happening on the radio at the time, like Beethoven's Fifth and a lot of other things. And they wanted the orchestra to sound more like these records did. And I realized that when I heard it, what they were talking about was the wah-wah pedal, because that's what they had.
Who would have thunk?
Right. So I brought it into that first rehearsal.
In Symphony Hall in Boston.
Yeah. in
Okay.
Symphony Hall. and here's the funny thing. The downbeat started, and I started like that. And Fiedler stopped the music, and he goes, you know, what is that? You know, well, that's me. And it's like, he goes, well, can you get that fixed? But what happened just at that moment, because in Symphony Hall, they were recording in the basement. That's where, I
Right.
believe it was Deutsche Grammophon. They had their studio. So that's where the producer was. And so, while everybody was trying to figure out what was going on with this strange sound on stage, the producer comes running up from downstairs, and he comes in the hall and goes, that's it, that's the sound. You know, it's almost like a movie, a bad movie.
So did
You know-
Fiedler actually acquiesce as far as that's concerned and said,
Yeah.
okay, let's just go?
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We're mostly used to hearing John as a jazz guitar player, but he has an album that's mostly fusion from the 80s, and it's incredible. And he wrote all the music. And, of course, he was with Natalie Cole
Mhm.
and with Peggy Lee and more and more great singers than you can imagine.
So you've worked with a couple of people.
A couple of people.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna play another tune. We're gonna put another tune up here. Do you want to, You want to talk about it, or
No.
you want me to talk
You
about
talk
it? Okay.
about it.
So John and Jim asked me to hang out and play a song with them, and this is one of our favorites. Actually, Jim loves this song a lot, and this one's called "There's No Greater Love." So please enjoy.
That was just amazing. 2 tubas and a guitar.
I know, I love it.
The rumble and the rhythm, the rumble and the rhythm. That's the name of the band.
A new album.
Sounds like a movie.
It just sounded incredible from the floor. I know it's going to be great.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah. What a treat it has been to have you gentlemen with us today. Thank you for making the drive to Studio 7 here.
Yeah, Studio Local 7.
And, it's our first heat wave. It's 95 degrees today in Southern California. So
Thank God, I want summer back.
And we wish you best of luck on this album release. And you've got a club date coming up on the 22nd.
Yeah, Jim, do you want to plug both the CD and the date that's coming up, man?
Well, the CD is called Hanging Out. It's going to be on the Basset Hound label. That's my label. And it's should be out available in a couple weeks. But John and I are playing a Trip, a club in Santa Monica on the 22nd, which is a Tuesday night, a 1-hour show from 8 to 9. We hope you'll turn out for it because it's going to be a lot of fun. And followed by Nick Mancini, the great vibes player, who is going to do the second part of the show. And John and I just want to get out and play like we did today for you guys. Yeah. And I do want to say one other thing, though.
Yeah, man.
And that is Doug and John are two of my best friends. Doug was a student, and he's now a colleague and a wonderful, wonderful studio musician. John is about the best jazz tuba player on the planet, and I'm honored to be part of this, and with my buddy John here.
Yeah.
Too many Johns here.
I'm saying.
Well, it is a common name. But anyway, thanks so much for that, Jim. That means a lot. And to both of us, it really does. And it's always a pleasure having you on the show, and always pleasure listening to you. And John, we haven't met, but let's play anytime. I'm down.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Don't steal him from me.
no, there's no stealing. There's just borrowing.
come together, the trio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we want to thank you all out there for watching the show today. Hope you had a great time. We'll be back again next week with something.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we always come up with something. So everybody have a wonderful weekend, and I hope you all are well, and peace out, everybody. Have a great time. Oh, and that's the one thing. We're going to take you out right now with John and Jim playing a little bit of Spain on the way out. Don't forget, February 22nd, right?
February 22nd.
February 22nd, Santa Monica at Trip. If you're in the LA area, highly recommend you come and check it out. Anyway, peace out, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.